Hello and welcome to Connect and Collaborate. I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and we are about 2 days into 2019, 3 days into 2019. I don't count the first. That's the hangover day.
Oh, my God. Okay.
That's a gimme day, right?
Sure.
But I have in studio one of my favorite people, Jeff Wasden, president of the Colorado Business Roundtable. How you doing, Jeff?
I am absolutely awesome and so excited for 2019. This is an incredible opportunity for the Colorado Business Roundtable. We're so excited about our positioning, our new board, the events and activities, and all the planning that's gone into that we're already putting in. And oh my goodness, an event already today to kick off 2019 with the governor. So
I know.
It just we're
Governor,
primed and ready.
We should say Governor Hickenlooper because we're about to change governors.
Governor. Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Polis isn't quite in yet.
Yeah.
Still technically, but just to clarify.
For a day or two, the governor.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, Happy New Year to everybody. We're so excited to have just an incredible network of partners and sponsors and friends and collaborators and the folks in our ABCG network. And we talk about that a lot, our folks in academia and business, community and government, and really the reach of the roundtable. And 2018 couldn't have gone any better for Colorado Business Roundtable. We're so excited how the year ended. And then, like I said, what a better way to start 2019 with an event with Governor Hickenlooper and gearing up for an exciting 2019. It couldn't be any happier, and we can't thank everybody that is so involved in supporting our efforts and collaborating and partner with us to make things possible, and our new board of directors and their leadership. I could go on, and I will for about 24 minutes for this segment, but we're excited. Can you tell?
We are excited. So let's talk about 2018, right? We came off a really, really good year. As you mentioned, you got a board now with people like Roberta Robinette from AT&T, and you have, who else? We've got Apple on the board.
We've got a new executive committee. We'll start there with our exec committee. So our executive committee is chaired by Roberta Robinette from AT&T, the president of AT&T Colorado. The chair-elect, or her vice chair, will be Dave Eddy from Boeing. And on deck or in the hole, I always get those baseball acronyms off, will be Chris Schmidt from Deloitte. We also have Peter Moore from Robertson Waters O'Dorsio, and Becky Takeda Tinker from CSU Global. Those five rounding out our executive committee. And then also on the board, you have small little companies, Apple, IBM, Lockheed Martin, Extraction, so many just incredible Colorado companies that we get to work with each and every day, and we're so honored to be able to have that kind of leadership. Jacobs Engineering, I could go on and on, some of the top firms, top companies, but more importantly, some of the top visionary leaders. Phil over at Pinnacle, the CEO. Again, you can tell how excited we are. We've got literally the cream of the crop here in the state of Colorado. They're going to help guide and direct COBRT into the future, and starting here in 2019, and getting that in place in 2018 was a monumental task. It took we were on a 5-year plan. We were ahead of the plan to execute, not only starting to have the kind of events that we wanted, to partnerships with Denver Business Journal, and we can talk about finding Colorado's next governor and the governor forums and everything that we were involved in. With DBJ and that partnership, View from the Top, which was another incredible event, but all leading toward getting our board and foundation set up. So as we enter 2019, we are positioned to be able to really, in a significant way, kind of flex our muscle a little bit and start to show the rest of the state that isn't familiar with COBRT, who and what we are, and how we're going to continue to align and partner with these other great organizations. We're not here to take out anybody. We're not here to supplant any of those other efforts. We each have our individual lanes, and I think that's one thing that we really established in 2018 was how we partner and align with groups like the Colorado Chamber and the Denver Chamber and South Metro, the trade associations like CTA under Franny, the new leader there, Dan Haley over at COGA, Tom Bugnitz at Manufacturers Edge, and all these great industries and associations that we work with that are the company-wide are part of the Colorado Business Roundtable. So all of our tech companies and oil gas companies and retail companies and aerospace companies that are part of associations and chambers, also part of the roundtable, how we function and operate together. And it really kind of comes down to the Colorado Business Roundtable has really taken kind of leadership on the regional, national, international space. We look at the big ticket items that really impact them at the areas where legislation most directly influences their ability to be successful. And that's really our lane, is to help them continue to grow, to compete for talent, for jobs, for business, to find the employees they need moving forward. And that's really at the federal level. When you look at aerospace and financial services, that's who controls that legislation. And so we really pick up that piece, working on things like trade policy, a lot around NAFTA, which now became obviously the new agreement with the U.S. MCO, things like export-import bank tax policy, regulatory policies, things like workforce and education, immigration issues, those bigger ticket items that we really focus on that have a direct impact to those companies' bottom line, and then support, collaborate, align, and allow the great leadership here in the state of Colorado, because we are so blessed with so many great leaders that really have a stronger focus and ties and connections and resources at the state level where they take leadership and how we can support their efforts. And so it's really been a great partnership that we helped, I think, really kind of come to that kind of operating agreement internally and informally of how we can all function, play well in the sandbox, support each other, and really continue to make Colorado the best place in the country to do business. And so that was exciting. And then coupled with so many incredible new partners, new sponsors, and events that we did this year. 2018 was awesome.
2018 was awesome.
It was awesome. But it's going to get better. Stay tuned.
Well, don't tell me to stay tuned. We've got some time to talk about getting better here.
Yeah, well, let's say I do want to kind of highlight a couple of some of our what we call our signature events, right? We have some key signature events that we've really put into place, and State of Higher Ed kind of kicks off our first big signature event. 2018, we had Chancellor DeStefano from CU, Tony Frank, the president of CSU, Janine Davidson, the president of Metro State, and Chancellor Chop at the University of Denver. All four of them came. The lieutenant governor was there. Congressman Polis was there, now Governor-elect Polis. An incredible group of attendees, highlighted and sponsored by TIA, our key presenting sponsor in there. The lieutenant governor read a proclamation declaring it the State of Higher Ed Day for Colorado, and really talked about the role of education and the business education partnerships and becoming more aligned, and how we signal to our providers, our workforce providers, the types of needs and employees that we're really looking for. We're excited about that event. It was an incredible event. We are already working, I can tell you, April 11th, 2019, this year, will be the State of Higher Ed. We're looking at some changes. We're working on an actual publication that may be tied in with that, looking at a way to potentially honor Bruce Benson, the president of the CU system, who has announced that he's retiring and stepping down after 10, 11 great years of service to the University of Colorado. And so a way to kind of give Bruce an opportunity to share some thoughts and reflections and honor his service. Certainly, even at CSU, Tony Frank is changing positions and roles, and they're changing. So we will have two new leaders, and we're thinking that hopefully this fall we'll be able to do kind of a reception meet and greet. But this year's will look a little differently because of some of those changes. We're looking at bringing in some community colleges, potentially some rural four-year, doing some work with the new Department of Higher Ed, which will have a new leader under Governor Polis. And then, like I said, a publication. So April 11th this year, State of Higher Ed. View from the Top would be our next signature event, our annual event. This year we had a follow-up to our first year that I think was even better attended and just an incredible opportunity. The focus from the leaders that were up there and the CEOs this year, Hickmick over at Western Union, the Red Robin CEO. And we actually flew in Stephen Demetra from Jacobs Engineering. Jacobs, as you know, purchased CH2M, and last year we had Jackie Hinman from CH. This year we had the new CEO that came in there. And so the three of them, Stephen, Hickmick, and
Denny
Marie Post from Red Robin, did an unbelievable job, and we're clamoring for that already again for this year, thinking about where we're going. And we do our annual legislative reception. This was year 5 in 2018, our 5th annual, which is so exciting to see that hit the 5-year mark. Again, just an incredible opportunity right after the election to be able to bring in some new legislators to sit and meet the business community, and we're excited to continue that and plan again for that this year. And then our awards luncheon, and I'm telling you, I can't be any happier about how we get the ability to thank, to recognize, to celebrate the outstanding collaborations, contributions, leadership, people that go above and beyond, that think bigger than themselves and their own companies, that are really sharing in this Colorado economic ecosystem to make Colorado this great place for business to grow and thrive. And these companies this year that we celebrated, champions in industry that are really out on the forefront, that understand how important their place is, but how we support the industry writ large in Colorado as a state is just something that you get a little bit tingly and goosebumps and a little excitement around that personally, as you can tell. And I know the award winners are so excited. And it would be nice to do the Oprah, you get an award, and you get an award, and you get an award, because there's so many deserving companies here, that we'd love to recognize everybody. But we had an incredible speaker, Reggie Rivers. We had a guest appearance from Rocky, the super mascot for the Denver Nuggets, who came in and entertained. When you're talking champions right now, the Denver Nuggets are actually in first place in the Western Conference.
Should we talk about it? I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, I don't know if I just did. Sorry, Nuggets, if you start a tailspin. But it was just a great way to do that. And so those 4 will continue in 2019 as what we call our signature annual events. We're actually hopeful this year to add a 5th one, State of the State. We're working with Governor Polis's team to hopefully get that pulled together with Quarterly Forum, which would be our key lead partner on that. We'd like to have those 5 signature events to kind of balance out the year starting in February. It's January. Yes, we're talking about an event next month, potentially, that we don't have a date and a confirmation, but welcome to the COBRT magic. And a lot of help and some folks that are willing to lean in on that if we can get that locked down, hopefully this week or next week, and be able to start to get the wheels in motion to put on State of the State and give our new governor, Governor Polis, the opportunity to kind of share his business priorities and what he hopes to accomplish here in the state of Colorado.
Awesome. I love that. And I want to point out, so our first year for the industry awards was collaboration. Last year was champions. Do we have a theme for 2019 yet? I know we just finished.
I know.
But I'm curious.
I
want to get all the juicy details I can.
Like a preview today. Let's see. What do we go with? Heroes in industry.
Heroes?
It could be one.
Yeah.
Sure, we could go there.
All
or
right.
We'll find out something.
Yeah. I like it.
We did a little series that wasn't attached to our awards about brave leaders.
Yes.
We could go back that way. I will consult my local thesaurus and dictionary and see if we come up with another great word. But that event will definitely happen early in December. Our ledge reception, of course, in November. View from the top, certainly in summer. And then I gave you the date already,
yes.
April 11th for our
State of Higher
Ed.
Yeah.
You couple all of those, but we do 20, 30, 40 plus events beyond these big signature events and roundtables and convenings and policy directed initiatives. We talked immigration. We talked early childhood education. We talked trade. We did a trade event with Canadian Consulate General and the Denver Business Journal and the Farm Bureau. Well, obviously, it was an election season. There were a lot of events tied around education. We had the redistricting, reapportionment, YZ initiatives on there. We have our Keep Colorado and Colorado Moving Forward event on transportation that we do in April. And since neither of the 2 transportation measures were successful, I would assume that sometime in April you will see a Moving Colorado Forward transportation event again on the docket as we sit and talk about how in the heck we're going to fund transportation improvements here in the state of Colorado. There are so many different ideas, and I think Governor Polis understands that you had specific ownership tax proposals. You had ideas that I had tried to generate to try and diversify the funding sources, not have such a high sales tax, but maybe lower the amount of the sales tax and increase things like lodging, vehicle type taxes, dispersing that around. You've got user taxes tied in with miles. You've got the ability to, to look and explore some ideas around how we actually fund that. Gas tax continues to get kicked around. There's 8-9 different ways. The difference is it's going to require some leadership. It's going to require the ability to do some collaboration. Now, entering this year, it's a very different political environment at the Capitol. There is no Republican leadership. You do not have a House and Senate divided that are kind of it's sometimes logger jams with each other and not able to come to those kinds of agreements. You've got a new speaker, a new Senate president, both within the Democratic Party and a Democratic governor. There may be an easier opportunity to put a proposal forward out of the state legislature that's referred. The challenge is because of Tabor, it will still have to go to the voters of Colorado. So whether it becomes a citizen-led initiative, as in the Denver Chambers last year, or Fix the Damn Roads from Caldera and the Independence Institute, there will be transportation funding that will certainly be on everybody's mind as this state continues to take in new residents and continues to grow and new businesses come here. You've got people like Google expanding and Facebook expanding and Apple in the tech sectors, Lockheed Martin that continues to grow and expand in here, Boeing, Northrop Grumman. I could go on and on with our big companies of the Business Roundtable. Colorado is going to continue to grow. The potential for an 8th congressional seat is certainly upon us, and that was the importance of passing the Y and Z redistricting reapportionment procedures. As we start to look at that, people understand we have to produce the kind of talent. Our education system needs to improve. We need to be looking at STEM education, the jobs of the future, aligning those. Business needs to be involved actively in those partnerships. We need to be connecting with our education partners and signaling those needs. We need to be looking at CTE and how we continue to make sure all students have the right pathway, whether it's college or career. And those are the things that we're going to be focusing on. In 2018, we had a lot of events around those types of activities in addition to our signature events. And not going to change in 2019. We literally, you want to talk about hitting the ground running. Just earlier today, as we mentioned, we had the event with Governor Hickenlooper. We've got the big event coming up with the new Xcel Energy president and a luncheon there to introduce the business community. We're working on a public lands event. The dynamic, obviously, around oil, gas, and drilling in public lands, outdoor rec community, and how we utilize public lands in a safe, productive way. Oil, gas, while 112 was defeated at the ballot box, again, as I mentioned, this is a new world order at the Capitol this year, and so I think you will see several oil gas bills at the state Capitol this year. That industry and so many of those companies that are part of the National Business Roundtable and the Colorado Business Roundtable, it's important that we continue to look at a all-above strategy that respects our environment, that has public safety of not only the workers but the residents in mind, and do so in a responsible fashion. Colorado's done an incredible job with that. We'll continue to work hard on those types of issues, so you'll probably see some ongoing events around the oil gas industry and calling attention to really the importance of that economic sector to Colorado's GDP, to the workforce, to local communities, the tax money that's generated for local schools and libraries and roads, why that matters, and how we can continue to find the right kind of balance as we look toward wind and solar and other ways to augment the renewables that are just as important, right? And I think everybody agrees we want a robust, all of the above energy portfolio. We talked a little bit about education. We'll certainly, in addition to the state of higher ed, continue to focus with so many of our great education associations and partners, focus on early child and how we ensure that all kids entering school have access to quality preschool and daycare that help prepare them to enter the workforce so they're not at a deficit on vocab and training and development, ensuring that our education system has high quality teachers and high quality standards and curriculum focusing on STEM and CTE. That'll continue to be a focus. And You may have heard immigration's been an issue we've talked about
once or
for
twice.
2, 3, 4, 5+ years since I've been here, and we continue, and that will not change. There may be a little bit of a government shutdown going on right now around the wall and security. Immigration and coming up with the right, respectful, pragmatic, thoughtful answers for our nation, business needs, workforce. That is not confined to our border, right? The companies of the Business Roundtable are looking for global talent, the diversity of thoughts and ideas, and the best talent, right? We've got to compete. We've got to grow. We need to have the best and brightest, and we need an immigration system that respects that, that allows that workforce to be here. Understanding that our legal immigration system is just as broken, that the visa system needs significant overstays, and that people want safe communities, and the importance of security and why that matters, and coming up with the right solutions. And there's going to be a heck of a debate now that Speaker Pelosi was just elected. On the House side, as the Democrats could control the House back in Washington. It's going to set up for some fireworks, I believe, with the new president, and how we come to terms with ending the government shutdown there. But it certainly impacts our discussions around what is the right immigration system for our communities, for Americans looking to go to work, so you don't get wage stagnation and compression, and certainly allow companies the right kind of workforce so we can continue to grow and expand and compete. So you'll hear a lot about immigration in 2019 as well. It's just a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. You're going to hear things like ban the box, prison reform, recidivism, what we do, again, on the labor side, and the dynamics between employer and employees is going to certainly be an area that's talked about. And I think as we look at these kind of partnerships, we're going to have an opportunity to bring in Ed Seelover at the Denver Business Journal and really talk about the legislative session, right? We know that's a part of what we do, but we also know we're a player in that game with so many other key leaders and drivers. I think Lauren over at the State Chamber, Ms. and the team over at the Denver Chamber, and so many others that really are front and center on that fight, because that's their lane, their niche, their area of expertise. We want to support them on those critical business issues. Those are the areas we're having Ed be able to come in and talk about with his knowledge and experience to share really what's the landscape, right? There has been a lot of bills that have been passed out of the House, Democrat controlled under Speaker Duran, that died in the Republican Senate. Ed did a pretty comprehensive study about what those bills are and what may come back this year and what's being talked about. And so the ability to really sit down and look at those bills that will impact business directly, those changes when you start looking at paid leave, start looking at wage issues and those types of things are going to matter when you start looking at what is the right regulatory framework for worker safety and providing that. So it's going to be a busy, busy year. I can't thank Roberta, Chris, Dave, Peter, and Becky, our executive committee, enough for their role in stepping up and serving that executive committee, to the rest of the board, to Phil and Greg and Rebecca and Gail and Ray, and just go down the line of our board members for their service in stepping up and providing the kind of leadership that I think the state of Colorado will truly benefit by. Banner year ahead for Colorado Business Roundtable. And I will say this, so many incredible opportunities for those people, those listeners out there that are involved in business, those chambers and trade associations and businesses that are looking for a passionate advocate, a tireless group of people that are committed to improving the state. If you're not familiar with the Colorado Business Roundtable, look us up, find out about us, take the time, go on our website, subscribe. Every day we have this incredible radio show that's the voice of the Colorado Business Roundtable. Alex, that you've done an incredible job. We don't talk enough about the power of the media in our newsletter at times because we have so many events and opportunities in our board, but we have a weekly newsletter that goes out and a daily radio show that people can connect with each and every day to learn more, to hear more. You do an incredible job running this show every single day with some great guests talking about incredible issues and highlighting successes in the state and challenges and issues that we're talking about. Tune in, listen to us every day, connect with us on social media. You also, Alex, in addition to wearing the radio hat, handle all the social media for the Business Roundtable. Lisa that does a great job with members in our newsletter. Connect with us. We're here to serve you. We're here to work with you. We're here to partner with you and to make 2019 the best year for the Colorado Business Roundtable ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. It has been a pleasure having you in here, and I love being patted on the back, so thank you for that.
Oh, well, of course, and you deserve it. This is a great team effort. We're so honored to have so many people supporting our efforts and making me probably look better than I deserve.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and be sure to visit COBRT.com, check out our radio page, sign up for the newsletter, and you know what? If you want to get involved, we can talk about that too. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.